I used to think the most dangerous thing about driving at night was falling asleep at the wheel. I was wrong. There are worse things than fatigue, worse things than drunk drivers, worse things than animals darting into the road. Because sometimes what you see on the side of the road doesn't want help. It wants you. It was in November years ago when the nights grew long and the air smelled of snow. I was driving back from my parents' house, a visit that had dragged on longer than expected. Family arguments, endless stories, too much wine. I left later than I wanted. The road I took was one of those lonely county routes. No lights, no signs, just miles of blacktop cutting through fields and woods. I was tired. My eyes burned. The hum of the engine almost lulled me to sleep. And then I saw her. At first, I thought it was just debris, something pale at the edge of the ditch. But as my headlights swept over, the shape became clear. It was a woman. She lay half submerged in the grass. Her body twisted unnaturally, one arm bent beneath her, the other stretched toward the road as if reaching for help. Her dress was white, torn, stained with mud. Her hair matted across her face. I slammed the brakes. My tires screamed. The car fishtailed before grinding to a stop. Heart pounding, I leaned forward. She wasn't moving. Everything in me screamed to keep driving, to pretend I hadn't seen her. But guilt dug its claws in. What if she'd been hit by a car? What if she was still alive, dying, waiting for someone to stop? I couldn't live with that. So I put the car in park and stepped out. The night air was freezing, biting my skin. The world was silent except for the ticking of my cooling engine. "Miss?" I called, my voice echoing. She didn't answer. I walked closer, my shoes crunching in the gravel. The beam of my flashlight cut through the dark, landing on her pale skin. "Are you okay?" I asked, louder now. Still nothing. When I reached the ditch, I froze. Her eyes were open, staring straight at me. They were cloudy, gray, lifeless. Her lips twitched, pulling into something that wasn't quite a smile. Every instinct screamed to run, but I forced myself to kneel beside her. I reached for her wrist, trembling, searching for a pulse. Her hand shot up, clamping around my arm. Her grip was ice. Her nails dug deep into my flesh. Her lips moved. A whisper escaped. "Pull me out!" I stumbled back, yanking free, but she didn't let go. Her grip was inhumanly strong. Her cloudy eyes locked on mine, unblinking. "Pull me out," she repeated, louder now. Her voice was wrong, layered, echoing, as though more than one throat was speaking. I pulled harder, desperate, and finally broke free, tumbling into the gravel. When I looked back, she was standing. Her twisted body had straightened. Her white dress hung in tatters. Mud dripped from her skin. She stood in the ditch, head tilted, staring. Then she climbed out. Her movements were jerky, unnatural, like a puppet yanked by invisible strings. And always, those dead gray eyes on me. I ran. I scrambled into my car, slamming the door, locking it. My hand shook as I jammed the keys into the ignition. The headlights flared to life, illuminating the road ahead. She stood in the beam, right in front of the car. Her head tilted back, her mouth opening wider and wider until her jaw cracked and she screamed. The sound wasn't human. It was a shriek of metal, of glass shattering, of brakes grinding. My ears rang. My vision blurred. I floored the gas. The car shot forward, plowing through her, but there was no impact. No body. Just emptiness. For a moment, I thought I'd imagined it all. My breathing slowed. My grip on the wheel loosened. Then I glanced in the rearview mirror. She was in the back seat. Her face was inches from mine, reflected in the glass. That pale, broken grin, those lifeless eyes. I screamed, swerving wildly. The car fishtailed, skidded off the road, crashed into the ditch. The airbags exploded. My chest burned. My ears rang. When I looked up, she was gone. The police found me hours later, dazed, rambling about a woman in white. They searched the ditch, found nothing. No tracks, no body. Nothing at all. They told me I must have swerved to avoid a deer, said exhaustion played tricks on me. But they didn't see the handprint, frozen into the flesh of my arm, where she grabbed me. For weeks, I dreamed of her cloudy eyes, her broken movements, her voice whispering, "Pull me out." I thought it was just trauma, my mind replaying the event. But then, last month, I saw her again, not on the road, in the reflection of my bathroom mirror, standing just behind me. Twist ending. I went back to that road once. I had to, I needed proof, and I found it. In the ditch, half buried in the dirt, was a car. Rusted, crushed, a relic of an accident decades ago. Inside, behind the shattered windshield, was a skeleton, dressed in tatters of white. One arm bent beneath her, the other stretched toward the road, exactly as I first saw her, but the skull was smiling. I've driven that road 1,000 times. I know every curve, every mile marker, every pothole. But that night the road betrayed me, because I found a tunnel that shouldn't exist, and once I went inside I couldn't leave. It was January, deep winter. My shift ended late as always, and the drive home was long. The highway was nearly empty, just a few 18-wheelers and tired sedans scattered across the dark. Snowflakes drifted lazily, catching in the glow of my headlights. The world felt fragile, like a photograph about to burn away. I was an hour from home when I saw it, a tunnel. At first, I thought I was imagining things. There had never been a tunnel on this stretch before. It cut straight through farmland and forest, nothing but flat land for miles. But there it was, a yawning black mouth carved into the earth, swallowing the highway whole. Concrete walls stained with soot. Dim yellow lights flickering along the ceiling. I should have turned back, but I didn't. The road didn't give me a choice. The moment I passed the threshold, the world changed. The snow vanished. The cold vanished. Even the sound of my engine felt muffled, like I was driving underwater. The tunnel stretched endlessly ahead, the walls slick and sweating. My headlights barely pierced the darkness, swallowed almost immediately. And then I realized something. My radio had turned on by itself. Static filled the car. A low hiss broken by faint whispers. I reached to turn it off, but the knob spun uselessly. The whispers grew louder. Keep going. Almost there. Don't stop. My hands trembled on the wheel. I pressed the gas harder, desperate to get out. But the tunnel didn't end. No matter how far I drove, the exit never appeared. Then the lights overhead began to fail, one by one. They flickered out. Darkness pressed in thicker and thicker, until only my headlights cut through it. And that's when I saw them. Figures. Dozens of them, lining the sides of the tunnel. At first, I thought they were just stains, shadows painted on concrete. But no, these were people, tall, thin, motionless, their faces pale, blurred as though water had washed away their features. Their heads turned to follow me as I passed. I pressed the pedal to the floor, but no matter how fast I went, they kept pace. Their mouths opened in unison, not screaming, not speaking, just gaping as if waiting to swallow the light. And from deep in the tunnel, something answered them. A low rumble. A roar. The walls trembled. Dust rained from the ceiling. Something enormous was moving in the dark. The radio screeched. Don't look. Don't look. Don't look. But I looked, and I saw it. A shape emerged from the black. It was the tunnel itself. The walls bent. The ceiling dropped. The ground heaved. The concrete was alive, shifting, closing in. A face formed in the walls. Massive, hollow eyes, a mouth stretching open to reveal nothing but void. The tunnel was eating me. I screamed, swerving wildly. My tires screeched, sparks flying as I scraped the wall. The figures along the sides reached for me, their hands long and bony, their touch cold even through the glass. The radio whispered frantically now, a dozen voices layered on top of each other. Give in, give in, give in, but I didn't. I floored the gas and kept driving. The tunnel shrieked, the walls convulsed, twisting, cracking. The pale figures scattered, vanishing into the dark. And suddenly, blinding light, an exit. I burst out of the tunnel, tires spitting gravel, snow rushing back into the world around me. The cold air slammed against my face as I rolled down the window, gasping. Behind me, the tunnel stood, silent, still, like it had always been there. I pulled over, shaking violently. My phone buzzed in my pocket, a notification, my GPS history. The route I'd taken was recorded perfectly, except there was no tunnel marked, no detours, no construction, just a straight stretch of road. I went back the next day. In the sunlight, the highway looked normal, no tunnel, no scars in the earth. But when I drove past the spot, my radio hissed, just for a second, and through the static, a voice whispered, You'll be back. Twist ending. Last week I found dust in my backseat. Fine gray dust like concrete crumbled into powder, and a handprint smeared across the glass. Long, thin, pale, as if one of the tunnel's figures had come with me, waiting. I should never have stopped that night. But the truth is, I didn't stop. She got in anyway. It was late spring past midnight. I was driving home after visiting a friend across town. The highway stretched before me like a black river, the streetlights few and far between. The air was heavy, thick with the promise of rain. Thunder rumbled somewhere far off, a storm crawling closer. That's when I saw her, a girl, standing by the side of the road, no car, no lights, no phone in her hand. Just standing there, barefoot in the grass, her white dress fluttering in the wind. Her hair hung wet across her face. She didn't raise her arm, didn't wave. She just smiled. It wasn't a friendly smile. It wasn't desperate either. It was wrong too wide, too patient, like she had been waiting for me. I kept driving. My chest was tight, my fingers stiff on the wheel. Every instinct screamed at me not to stop. But when I glanced at the mirror, my blood froze. The backseat wasn't empty. She was sitting there, smiling. I nearly crashed. The car swerved, tires screeching against the asphalt. My hands shook violently as I tried to keep steady. She didn't move, didn't blink. Just sat there watching me, her face pale as bone, her eyes glistening black, that terrible smile cutting across her cheeks. "Don't stop," she whispered. Her voice was soft, childlike, but it carried weight, pressing into my skull. I stammered, What do you want?" Her head tilted slightly. The smile never wavered. "You already stopped." The road stretched on endlessly. My heart pounded so loud I could barely hear the engine. I thought of pulling over, throwing the door open, running into the night, but I couldn't. My body wouldn't obey. My hands stayed glued to the wheel. My foot pressed the gas. I wasn't driving anymore. She was. She leaned forward slowly, her breath cold against my ear. "Do you know how many people stop for me?" she whispered. I shook my head violently. Tears blurred my eyes. "None," she giggled. "They never stop. But they always see me." A flash of lightning illuminated the car. For a split second I saw her reflection in the windshield. It wasn't human. Her mouth stretched far too wide. Her skin was cracked like porcelain, and her hair slithered as if underwater. And in her reflection, her hands weren't folded neatly in her lap. They were wrapped around my throat. I gasped, clawing at my neck. But when I looked down, her hands weren't there, just that endless smile. The storm broke then. Rain hammered against the windshield, wipers squealing uselessly. The road blurred into rivers of water. She sat back, humming softly. A tune I didn't recognize, but the longer I listened, the more I realized it wasn't humming at all, it was crying. I whispered, "Please, let me go." Her head turned slowly toward me. The smile widened. "You're already gone." The world outside disappeared. No trees, no signs, no other cars, just blackness and rain. I drove and drove, but the road never ended. Time dissolved. Minutes, hours, days. None of it mattered. All that existed was her. And me. At some point I fell asleep. Or maybe I died, but when I woke I was parked in front of my house. The storm was gone. The night was quiet, the backseat was empty. I stumbled inside, shaking, half mad. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. For days I tried to convince myself it wasn't real, that my exhausted brain had played a trick. But then, I saw her again, not on the road this time, in my mirror, standing just behind me, smiling. Now she follows me everywhere. In the glass of shop windows, in the reflection of water, in the dark of my TV screen, always behind me, always smiling. I don't know when she'll finally step out, when she'll finally touch me. But I know this. The next time you drive at night, look carefully at the side of the road. If you see her, don't stop, because whether you stop or not, she'll already be in your car. Twist ending. Last night, I woke to the sound of someone humming in my room. When I turned on the light, the mirror across from my bed was fogged, and written in the condensation was one word: drive.